Now let's practice in-text citations in APA style using the references that we just formatted for a references list. Just as a side note, in-text citations do not need to be included on your references list. I'm just using this format so that you can see where I'm taking the information to create the in-text citation. In-text citations are used in the text of your paper itself to direct your reader to the full citation on your references list. And remember, it's just a little bit of information. For our first citation, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, you will use the corporate author's name, which is the CDC. Since it's an in-text citation, though, you will include the entire name, Centers for Disease Control and Protection. And then you'll include the date. In this case, we have N.D. for no date, so we'll add that. Now, if it's an agency that has a commonly known acronym, as the CDC is, in brackets in your citation, you can include CDC after the full name. And then if you have any other citations from the CDC in your paper, you can use the shortened version, CDC N.D. But it is important to spell out the entire name the first time it appears. Now our next citation has an author's name, so we will use the author's name. In-text citations always appear in parentheses, as well as the year. Now this is a print source. Rather, it's a journal article that we found online, but it's the PDF which keeps the original page numbers. So we'll be sure to include the specific page number from which we obtained that piece of information that's being cited in your source, in your paper. When you're using information from a source in your paper, you'll include the in-text citation, of course, and whatever information you're specifically using, that page number that you got it from is what you'll include. So let's say we found it on page 183. And that's what your citation would look like. For corporate authors, it's very similar to the CDC above. We'll have Mayo Clinic, N.D. And that was found online with no page numbers, so you do not need to include a page number. And our next source also is an author name. Now we have a full date for this one, but you only need to include the year. The reader can find this exact date if they need to in the full citation on your references list, so just the year is sufficient. And this one was also found online, so it does not have any specific page numbers. And now we have our book with two authors. Since there are two authors, we want to be sure to include both authors in the in-text citation. Some sources list several authors. You must list all of the authors' names in your first citation. You'll have both author names, Reinking and von der Osten, the year of publication 2011, and since this is a book, we will include the specific page number, which we'll say is 432. Now, I'm not sure why this isn't italicized. I thought I did italicize it, but let's go ahead and fix that now. Alright, and now our last one. Now this is the title of the article, remember, that was listed on Science Daily, but was not a corporate author by Science Daily. It's just an article that's published on Science Daily. You don't need to list the entire title. You just need to give the reader enough information to find that specific source on your references page. So usually the first word or two is sufficient. In this case, I'll use the first two words. Since it's a title, though, it will go in quotation marks. Comma, quotation marks, and then the year. And it was published online, so there's no specific page number. And that is your citation.